How to do walkthroughs with your cash buyers on your wholesale deals. It's Rick in here with Flip with Rick. This video is to show you how to take your cash buyers and actually turn them into assignment contracts so you can put the profit in your bank account. So guys, keep in mind with this strategy, you have to set the price at a reasonable number a cash buyer will buy it at. This is not for your pie in the sky listed retail numbers. This is specifically for cash buyers looking to buy your contracts via assignment, and you get paid quickly, usually within 2 weeks or less. So before you even get into the appointment, you got to make sure you reach out to your sellers and let them know you're going to have a visitor coming by. And typically I'm going to tell them, hey, I have a partner come through. They want to just go and double check the repairs, just look over the property and make sure we have the numbers right. Now, this is for your sellers that reside in the home. If the house is vacant, disregard this part because it's much, much easier when the house is vacant. But a lot of the properties we deal with have the sellers in there. So if the seller's there at home when you're doing this, just let them know you're going to come by, let them know how much time you're going to take. Usually 15 minutes max per cash buyer. So once they know, they're usually good to go. They typically want to know you're going to be there because you have built the trust level with them. So make sure you're there with your cash buyers. Before we bring the cash buyer to our deals, remember, we're selling our contract. You've got to make sure you've pre-vetted your cash buyers. What do I mean by that? Meaning you actually have to call your cash buyers and make sure they are real cash buyers. I'm here to tell you a lot of cash buyers are not who they say they are. The simplest way to vet a cash buyer is ask them for a proof of fund. And the minute you get an excuse, understand you don't have a cash buyer. After we verified we have an actual real cash buyer, the second thing we want to find out if they've ever dealt with an assignment of contract. How do you find out? Just literally ask them, have you ever bought a property via assignment of contract? The reason you're asking for this is a lot of first-time buyers or people that have never seen an assignment contract, they tend to freak out. You want to know this up front before you bring them to your seller's house because you want to make sure they're ready to go. If they have never had experience doing an assignment contract, what I recommend you do is go and meet them over at your title company or send them to your title company and have them meet with your representative and have them walk through how an assignment of contract works so they understand the rules and the terms. In my experience, if they've never done an assignment contract, you do not want to experiment with them on your sellers. Go ahead and have them go by your title company or meet with them separately and explain how the assignment of contract works. The next thing you want to do prior to your cash buyer coming to the property to buy your contract is you want to do a verification over the phone. You want to verify the time and the date you're going to meet with them. You got to make sure they're prompt. You do not wait for cash buyers. In my experience, cash buyers typically show up 10 to 15 minutes earlier. I recommend you get to the property 20 to 30 minutes before so you can condition your seller and have your seller calm down. A lot of sellers want to go for a walk or they'll go in the other room, whatever it is. Be the first person there. Do not let your cash buyer beat you there because they're going to have a conversation with them and it's going to kill the deal. Guys, make sure you reach out to your cash buyers. Not only are you looking for the time and date, the most important thing you're going to ask them is, Mr. Buyer, is it just you that's going to show up to the property? Why am I asking that? Because a lot of times they'll show up with random parties. They'll bring their sister, their brother. I've had them bring realtors. I've had them bring other contractors. You got to understand these people outside of the cash buyer, they don't know what you're doing. They don't care. And they'll typically screw your deal up by talking to your seller. It's critically important you know how many people are showing up. If 4 people show up and you only expected 1, that means you have to babysit 4 people. It's almost impossible to do. We're verifying the time and the date. You're going to show up early. Number 2, you're going to verify how many people are going to be there. It's very important they stick to that number. If only 1 person's going to be there, only 1 person should get out of that car. And if they violate those rules, you have to stop them from entering the property immediately. And the next thing you're going to verify on the phone is you're already going to give them a price you're offering the contract for. And you want to make sure they're okay with it. So you want them to go ahead and run their comps and do what we call underwriting. Underwriting means they go and do their homework on the property to see if it's a viable fit. As long as the repairs and the estimates add up to what you told them it was, there should be no surprises at the walkthrough with your cash buyers. If they have a problem with the number and they don't like it, you need to find that out before they get there, okay? You are not there to negotiate the number. You're just there to give them access to verify the condition of the property so they can buy your contract. Make sure they underwrite their numbers for your deal before they get to the property. And I might make one additional phone call and make sure. So if you're offering them like 150 for an assignment of contract, they go, yeah, 150 is good, Rick, as long as the numbers add up to what you say they are. Then you're good to go. The next phase is we're going to move to the actual physical appointment of walking your cash buyer through your deal. So the cardinal rule when you're now at the appointment, hopefully you've beaten your cash buyer there, you've preconditioned your seller, is the number one rule is never, ever, under any conditions, let your cash buyer communicate or converse with your seller. This is problematic. It goes against everything we do in wholesaling. Remember, you're the party they're buying the contract from, not the seller. If they try to bypass you, meaning maybe they sneak in another room and try to talk to the seller, get them out of there immediately and move on. They are not your cash buyer. Cash buyers have to respect that you are selling the contract and they do not have the right to talk to the seller. If this is their negotiating ploy, end it or don't let them show up to the property at all. I'm telling you, if they talk to your seller, it will kill your wholesale deal immediately. So now we go through the walkthrough. In my experience of doing this almost 20 years, a walkthrough should be, it's rarely more than 10 minutes. And a lot of times it's 5 to 7 minutes if you have an experienced cash buyer. Now, if the seller is present, they're at home, they typically go to like a corner of the house, somewhere where they're very comfortable with, and you walk them through the house. The main thing is you tell your cash buyer, I'm gonna just walk you through the house. And then what we'll do is we'll go outside and talk. You do not want to talk about numbers in front of the seller. You risk upsetting your seller if they get upset with a repair bid or anything like that. And for this purpose, if the seller is going to be present during your cash buyer's walkthrough, get them in, get them out as fast as you can with the comfort level of your cash buyer, and then go outside near the car. And that's where you can have a final conversation with your cash buyer. Never, ever do it inside the property. Now you're outside the property, you're at your cash buyer's car, and this is the point where you're either going to usually get a deal or not, in my experience. Now, it's important at this point for you not to waffle on your number. If your cash buyer knows you're negotiable, they're going to try to kick your teeth in. If your number's 150 and you're confident in it and you walk through, unless some sort of boomerang was thrown at you, like a crazy repair or something you missed, you should be able to get your number. Remember, your cash buyer underwrote the deal before they got there and they told you they're okay with it. So if they go, yeah, Rick, you said the repairs are about 15 grand. That's about right. That's great. What I'm asking for is the 150. You can actually get the deal today. It's critical you do not try to negotiate your price at this point and make it very clear they have to use your title company. Those two are non-negotiable in my books unless some unknown repair has popped up. Once you offer them the price, the typical cash buyer is going to give you like the kind of the smirk face, like, I got to think about it. I mean, it sounds good, but I'm not quite sure. And that's completely normal. Do not panic. Do not chase them. You are going to create what we call FOMO, the fear of missing out. Say, great. Hey, listen, cash buyer, I appreciate your time coming by and taking a look at the property to see if selling my contract was a good fit. Just to let you know, I gave you first crack at this. I've got 3 more cash buyers lined up today going to take a look at it. So if it's something you want to move forward with it, you got to let me know as soon as possible so I can stop those other cash buyers from coming by. But if it's not a good fit, that's fine too. Just let me know what you want to do. Then just shut up and watch their reaction. 9 times out of 10, they'll call you within 1 hour of leaving that property to let you know if they're going to move forward. And it's critical you do that because I have more cash buyers who want to lock the deal up. And the minute they know they have competition, they're much more aggressive in making their offers and taking decisive action. Guys, you have to put FOMO in your cash buyers because it's an imperative part of them taking action. Remember, we want to get this deal closed as soon as possible. You don't have 2 or 3 days to think about it. Usually that decision is made before the end of the day. If you haven't heard back from that cash buyer by the end of the day, most likely they're not going to be a good fit. So in the event they do not give you an answer as they're getting ready to get in their car, just say, hey, just to let you know, if you want to do this deal, you got to let me know by 5 p.m. today. I have 2 other cash buyers that told me they're going to get here tomorrow morning. So I have to have a decision. You have to have a deadline with every cash buyer. Do not leave it open. Remember, we're not realtors. We need them to take action. We need a decision, yes or no. We do not let cash buyers sit in the maybe zone, the friend zone. It's either a yes or no. If you don't contact me by 5, I'll assume you're out and leave it at that. Okay, last but not least, so your cash buyer's committed. Awesome. They've said yes. Now, you're going to put the ball in their court and they have to take precise action. How do they do that? You've got to give them clear and precise instructions. What I like to do is send them by my title company, and either your title company can prepare the assignment for you. You'll have to fill in the numbers, or you can prepare the document and send it to your title company and let them know they got to go by the title company tomorrow by noon, sign the agreement of the numbers we agreed upon, and they have to leave an earnest money deposit. Now, how much should they leave? Remember, this is a non-refundable deposit. When they leave this deposit, it makes them commit to the deal and you don't have to chase them down to the closing. My recommendation is anywhere, nothing less than $2,500, and usually we do around $5,000. Depending on what market you're in. They don't go by and sign that agreement by noon and leave that earnest money deposit. You do not have a deal. You got to let them know. And by the way, do not let them just, I know a lot of you go, hey, why don't I just do a DocuSign? No, you want them to physically go somewhere and sign and leave money. And if you're going to do a DocuSign, if you use our assignment agreement, it clearly stipulates if they don't leave the earnest money deposit by the end of that business day, the contract is null and void. Guys, I've had so many people try this scam on me. Protect yourself. Once they say yes, make sure they take clear and precise actions within at least the next 24 hours. Guys, these tips, I've been through, 50,000 plus cash buyers. I'm here to tell you these tips I'm sharing with you will ensure you can take your wholesale deals that you go out and you chase people down and you get them under contract. Now you can sell your contract to your cash buyers. It's important you finish the job and bring them to the closing table to make sure you can profit and put that money in your bank account. Don't let a cash buyer ever work you. Remember, you're always in control. You do not negotiate with cash buyers. You have what they want, and you got to make sure you get your payday. So guys, let me know if you guys are using these tips for your cash buyer walkthroughs, and let me know some things you might add to it. Guys, I've been doing this 20 years. I'm telling you, if you use the exact sequence I just gave you, it will save you a ton of headache. And if they give you any type of drama or pushback, I'm saving you weeks and tons of pain on a deal that's not going to work out. Guys, hold your cash buyers accountable. And remember, you're not there to sell them. They have to sell you on why they're going to buy it. Guys, go out and get a cash buyer. Use these tips, and I will see you at the closing table. Guys, this is Rick in with Flip with Rick. Smash that like button. Hit that subscribe button. I will continue to share my knowledge with you so you guys can be successful wholesalers. I'll see you in the next video.